In the bustling, sun-drenched streets of 1920s Johannesburg, there lived a woman who, to all appearances, was the picture of gentle kindness. She was a nurse, a devoted mother, and a loving wife. To her neighbors, she was the caring Mrs. de Melker, always ready with a warm smile. But beneath that calm, reassuring surface, a chilling secret was taking root. A secret so dark it would etch her name into the annals of crime forever. Her name was Daisy de Melker, and she would soon become known as South Africa's most notorious Black Widow. Born Daisy Hancorn Smith in 1886, she possessed a charm and elegance that drew people to her. She trained as a nurse, a profession built on care and compassion. But behind the starched white uniform and the veneer of respectability, Daisy was cultivating a different kind of expertise, one that dealt not in healing, but in death. A kind of death she orchestrated herself, with cold, calculated precision. Her story of veiled terror begins with her first husband, William Cowell, a plumber. They were married for years, raising a family, living what seemed to be a normal life. Then, one day in 1923, William died suddenly. The official diagnosis was cerebral malaria, a tragic but not entirely uncommon illness. Daisy, now a grieving widow, collected a substantial life insurance payout. At the time, it was seen as a small comfort for her loss. But as time passed, whispers began to circulate, like smoke curling from a hidden fire. Just a few years later, Daisy found love again. She married another plumber, Roberts. Their happiness, however, was tragically short. He, too, fell ill and died suddenly. The cause was listed as arterial sclerosis and cerebral hemorrhage. And once again, Daisy, the bereaved widow, was left with a handsome insurance sum. 2 husbands, both dead from sudden, severe illnesses. It was a terrible coincidence, a string of awful luck, or was it? By the time she married her 3rd husband, Sidney de Melker, also a plumber, the pattern was becoming too stark to be mere misfortune. When Sidney, like his predecessors, fell violently and mysteriously ill, the web of suspicion began to tighten. It was a macabre trilogy, and the common denominator in each tragic chapter was Daisy. Investigators, spurred on by Sidney's suspicious brother, started looking closer. They noticed something sinister. Each man had died shortly after consuming something Daisy had lovingly prepared: a cup of tea, a dose of medicine, a flask of coffee, and more demingly, each husband had, shortly before his death, updated his life insurance policy, making Daisy the sole, significant beneficiary. The motive was becoming crystal clear: greed, disguised as grief. But Daisy's insatiable avarice didn't end with her husbands. Her own son, Rhodes, from her first marriage, was becoming a problem. He had grown suspicious and was demanding his inheritance. Money he believed was rightfully his from his father's death. Rhodes was a threat to Daisy's comfortable life, a loose end she needed to tie up. One day, he complained of feeling unwell after drinking coffee prepared by his mother. He died in agony shortly after. This time, however, Daisy's luck ran out. The poison was so potent, so obvious, that the cause of death was undeniable. A powerful, fast-acting poison that causes horrific convulsions. This was not an illness. This was murder. That final, callous act was her undoing. The death of her own son triggered a full-scale investigation. The police exhumed the bodies of her 2 late husbands, William Cowell and Robert Sproat. Their remains told the story Daisy had tried so hard to bury. Traces of strychnine were found in William's body, and arsenic was discovered in Robert's. The Black Widow's web had finally been unraveled. In 1932, Daisy de Melker stood trial. The courtroom was captivated by the tale of the unassuming nurse who had systematically poisoned those closest to her for financial gain. She was found guilty of the murder of her son and sentenced to death. On the 30th of December, 1932, Daisy de Melker was hanged, becoming the 2nd woman ever to be executed in South Africa. To the world, she was a kind, nurturing woman. To her victims, she was a silent executioner, delivering death with a gentle hand. And to history, she remains a chilling reminder that the most terrifying evil can often wear the kindest face Thank you so much for joining us on this journey into one of South Africa's darkest chapters. If you found this story as fascinating as we did, don't forget to hit that like button. Leave us a comment with your thoughts. And most importantly, subscribe to our channel for more true stories from the shadows. We'll see you next time.